Hey everyone, I'm Tim, the managing director here at Pronto, and I'm joined by Matteo, our head of marketing. Welcome to part one of our series about elevating your MSP through various actions you can take on your website and through marketing activities. In this video, we'll be talking about two things that you should be doing every month to help propel your website forward, generate new leads and new business for your MSP. So the first thing is that a question we get asked a lot is, how can I get my website to convert more leads? Well, one thing to understand, make sure we're all on the same page about is what's the job of your website? And sometimes people will phrase that question not as how can my website collect more leads, but I'm just not getting enough leads. How do I get more leads? And we'll ask them, well, what marketing activities are you investing in? And they'll say something like, well, I have my website and that should be generating leads for me. But the thing to understand is that websites don't generate leads, they collect them. It's all the marketing activities you do that generate that traffic that can turn into leads on your website. So things like investing in SEO, running ad campaigns, doing email marketing, content marketing, all those things generate traffic and generate interest in your business and your services. And then that comes to your website, and then it's your website's job to convince them to fill out a form or give you a call or something that gets them into the sales process. It's really important to understand that as we talk about these sorts of things, that there's a difference between generating leads through marketing activities and collecting those leads through converting them on your website. And it's really important to understand how this all fits together within the bigger picture of your marketing. So your marketing generates all the traffic to your site, and really content is the sort of foundational piece of your marketing, because your content can be used in all different areas, from search, SEO, and social media, email campaigns, all that kind of stuff. And it's really important that you're continually investing in all these different areas, not just developing content, but using that content for different marketing activities. Because with MSPs, there's tends to be a long sales cycle. Sometimes you're working on very large multi-thousand-dollar recurring deals, and it can take a while before that person is ready to actually make a decision and move forward with you. So the more that you're there reminding them that you exist and that you're there to help through your marketing activities, the more likely that your website's going to be able to do its job and collect their information and get them into talking to a salesperson once they're ready to move forward. And you can think of your website as this sort of always-on sales representative. It's there showing off your business, showing off your services, and being sort of a hub where all these different marketing activities can send their traffic to. So with that, I'll hand it over to Matteo, who is going to talk about the first thing, monthly thing. Make sure you check out our other parts in this series where we go into quarterly activities, yearly activities, and one sort of as needed thing that comes up on an ad hoc basis. Matteo, take it away.
So yeah, the very first action we generally recommend performing is a thorough review of your website analytics. And we'll try to keep it simple because we understand once we get into things like data analytics and Google Analytics, people can get a little bit intimidated. But generally, would you agree that making any decisions purely based on intuition could potentially lead to negative outcomes? And I generally think we can pretty confidently say that that's true, right? Data and decision-making are absolute cornerstones of company strategy. And this is also true for your website. And so if we go to the next slide, team, your website analytics can reveal a lot of information. The number of visitors your website gets, their geographic location, and the pages they visit, which can help to identify trends and patterns in how your website is used by your visitors. And with this information, you can start planning a number of activities over the course of a period of time. You may find out that pages around a certain topic or a service are visited the longest. So you may want to produce more content around those in-demand topics to really allow visitors to make a more informed purchasing decision down the road. I really like the idea or the analogy Tim made before. Your website is sort of your 24/7, 365 days a year sales rep in a way. It never really gets sick. It never goes on holiday. And ultimately, you want the content on your website to do most of the selling for you. You want your prospects to really reach out once they've already made 70% of their purchasing decision without having to talk to your sales department. And then once they pick up the phone or fill out a form, they've already sort of crossed that knowledge gap, and they know that they want to know more about maybe how you execute your services and learn more about your prices. So generally, looking at the data from Google Analytics can help you achieve just that. And Google Analytics is really your weapon of choice in this case. And there are 3 essential reports you want to review into Google Analytics. The very first one is your traffic source report. This report provides insights into the origin of your website visitors. So by regularly reviewing your traffic sources, you can identify opportunities to improve your website performance and drive more qualified visitors to it. So as traffic sources, what do we mean by that? We mean organic. Organic means any visitors coming from searching in a search engine like Google or Bing. Then we have referral traffic. We have social media traffic. We have direct traffic, people that already know about your brand or your company name, and they're typing it straight into their browser and visiting your website. Advertising campaigns or email campaigns. So all of this is really important to know which of these channels is driving the most traffic, and then you may want to either double down on the channels that are essentially driving more traffic, or you may want to optimize some of the channels that are underperforming. So plenty of choices for you here. Then we have the behavior report. Through this report, you can learn more about how long visitors stay on your website and on each page of your website. You can also learn how many total pages each user visits on your website over a certain period of time. And you can learn how often visitors arrive on your website and leave immediately without taking action. That's also called bounce rate. And then you can get even nerdier if you really like it and learn about their journey through your website from when they arrive until they exit it. This is important because if you notice that a certain page has a particularly high bounce rate or drop rate where people drop off and visit other websites, you may want to consider optimizing it to avoid that too many visitors lose interest on that specific page. So this behavior report also can provide a lot of information and can allow you to optimize your website even further in order to keep visitors longer and hopefully get them to take any actions later on. And in fact, this is our next report. So the conversion report, in this report, you really will learn how often your visitors have completed a predetermined action or set of actions that we generally refer as goals on your website over a period of time. And a goal can be consider a form submission, a direct call, a download. Maybe you have an ebook on your website. You may consider that a goal. And so if generally you want to know where those goals or how those goals have taken place. So where do the visitors that have taken action on your site were coming from? And this is where attribution comes into play. We will know from this report that maybe a certain call was coming from a visitor that clicked on a link from an email that you have sent out or from a PPC campaign that you are running. And so you want to really understand which channels, which sources are driving the most conversions. And just like I said before in the behavior report, you can then learn and optimize even further the sources that are driving the most conversions, or optimize the ones that are underperforming. And so if you don't have Google Analytics, you should install Google Analytics. If you don't know how to access Google Analytics, you can reach out to us at support@prontomarketing.com and we'll help you get access to it. And if you really want us to take it a step further and you want us to read the data for you and give you actionable advice, feel free to check out our website SEO Audit, and we'll do all this for you.
Yeah, lots of really good points there, Matteo. And there's a ton of data available in Google Analytics. It can feel overwhelming if you're not familiar with it. It is all learnable. There's plenty of courses out there about it that can give you the basics beyond what Matteo has gone through today. But like he said, we're always here to help if you feel like you're ever getting lost. So that brings us to the next monthly thing that you should be doing, which is publishing 1 or more blog articles per month. Ideally, I think this falls in the 2 to 4 articles per month range, but we understand that you're busy, you have other things that you need to be doing for your MSP. And if 1 is where you can start, that's fine. Just start doing something, get in that groove of doing it every single month. And that's really, when you do this over and over again, that's where content really becomes this powerful tool, as we'll see in a little bit. So like I mentioned before, these articles and content really function as a hub of your other marketing activities. When you publish articles on your website, they can help bring in new organic traffic. So they're bringing in that new traffic that can potentially learn more about your business and be interested in your services. They can also be repurposed into ebooks or lead magnets, where you share them as a PDF, but people have to submit a form to access that PDF first. So you get their contact information and then can start sending them drip emails, more about your services, and see if they're interested in getting on a call with you. And of course, they can then transfer into other email campaigns where maybe it's in a monthly newsletter that you send out, or a letter from the CEO to all of your clients saying, hey, you should pay attention to this thing that's going on with cybersecurity. Oftentimes, content is an excuse just to reach out to your client base or your prospects and remind them that you're there and that you're there to help. And eventually they'll need that help and reach out to you and hopefully engage with you. So how do you actually go about doing this? And how do you come up with ideas and go through the process of writing and publishing content on your site? Well, it all starts with brainstorming, and probably the easiest way to get started there is just by thinking about what questions your clients and prospects ask the most often. Because if they're asking you that, it means they're potentially searching for that. They want that answer somewhere. And if you have it in an easily digestible format of a blog article, that's going to suit their needs perfectly and start building that trust that eventually leads to them doing business with you. There's some more you can do here. You can look into keyword research. There's tools that tell you how often people search for different types of keywords. You can look at what your competitors are doing, or you can go look at that behavior report that Matteo mentioned in Google Analytics to see which topics seem to be most popular on your site already. Maybe you have a blog article that's really popular, but it's a year or 2 old and it needs a fresh update because technology has changed or cybersecurity threats have changed, and you want to update it and keep it fresh to keep bringing in that new traffic. Then actually the hardest part is finding time to write it. And like I said, we're all busy. We have other things on our plates, and it's really easy to say, oh, this other thing is more important. This blog article can wait till next week. But if you have that mindset, it's always going to be next week or the next day, and it never gets done. So you really do need to set aside time on your calendar for you to focus and just only work on writing that blog article. You can also bring in other team members. Maybe you have subject matter experts within your MSP that can come in and write an article that gets into a little bit more technical side of things. Or you could always work with an outsourced team, give them an outline of what you want written and the main points you want them to hit, and have someone else write it for you. The one thing to keep in mind, though, is that as you outsource it, they're not going to know as much about your business or your audience or your services as you do. So if you are going to outsource, the more effort you put into giving that writer information or a very detailed outline, the more likely you're going to get something that really addresses your audience's needs. And then once it's written and published, it's all about going out there and promoting it, sharing it on social media. You can do some link building to it to improve its ability to show up in search results, or you can send it out in email campaigns to make sure everyone on your email list gets a chance to see it as well. And here, this shows the power of blogging. It really is this thing that builds up slowly over time. You shouldn't expect to publish 1 or 2 blog articles and they happen to be huge hits and you start getting thousands of visits. That's really not the way it works. Blogging is really powerful when you do it consistently month after month, because each blog article you publish has a chance to rank for a few keywords. And if you keep publishing more and more each month, eventually you have hundreds of blog articles that are all generating traffic for different variations on keywords. And that can really add up to a huge amount of traffic coming into your site. In this case study here, one of our clients was working with us on writing blog articles for them. And over the course of a year, they saw their web traffic increase by over 1,000%. So you really have to stick with it with blogging. Don't give up too soon. The more effort you put into it and the more you get it in this regular groove, the more likely it'll pay huge dividends in the long run. So get started brainstorming. Go ask your team members what questions they receive most often, or maybe you already know already, and get your team writing or write yourself. And if you have a completed article in your Pronto client, feel free to just send it over to us at support@prontomarketing.com, and we'll pick out a stock image to include as the feature image of the blog article, and we'll publish it on your site for you. So you can just send that completed content over to us, and we'll take care of the rest. Or if you think you really don't have time to write the blogs yourself, you can come talk to us about our custom blogging service. We're always happy to help share our ideas on what your content calendar should look like, what topics you should be covering. We can help research things for you and make sure we're hitting those main topics that your audience is really looking for, and then write those for you, get your feedback on them, and publish them for you as well. So that's it for part 1. If you have any questions about anything we covered today, feel free to email me or Matteo directly, or shoot us a message to our support team and we'll help out with anything you need. Don't forget to check out the part 2 and 3 coming up soon. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.